Welcome to the mind as the most powerful aphrodisiac. My name is Dr. Alex Ryan of the Love Doctors, and over the next 15 minutes, we're going to be taking you through some really interesting knowledge about how you can get into a positive mindset and a positive frame of mind so that your partner can be attracted to you, and vice versa, you can create attraction within yourself from within so that you and your partner can have a great connection with each other. What I'm going to cover in this video are three of the following. Firstly, we're going to be talking about negative thinking. I'm going to show you the way people negatively think and why they do, and how you can change that, which moves into positive thinking. The thing about negative thinking is that most of the time you actually are negatively thinking, and you actually think that's quite normal because the mind, as you know, has habits just like your body has habits. Like having a food addiction, for example. And so we're going to be looking at identifying what our negative thought processes are, how that affects our relationship with our partner, and how we can turn that around. And when we turn it around, we're going to be moving into the positive thinking domain. And I'm going to show you my powerful technology that I've developed, which allows you to easily and effectively change your negative thought processes into positive thoughts and positive thought processes. Be able to do that quite quickly and easily. And the third part is I'm going to show you a very powerful mindset so that your partner is attracted to you more than they are at the moment. In other words, you'll be able to think and feel in such a way, have a positive mindset in such a way that your partner will be gravitating towards you. In other words, you'll be a love magnet to your partner. A little bit about me. I've got a post-honours degree or PhD in psychology. I studied at the University of Adelaide during the 1990s, and in that time I studied anger and aggression, and I soon came to understand that in relationships it's pretty important that people have a grip over their negative thinking and the way they feel, because even the best people can actually get quite angry and aggressive, particularly in situations where they're stressed. And I've quickly found when I started practicing in the early 2000s is that relationships can involve a lot of anger, resentment, and also a lot of embitterment. So I basically started to apply my knowledge in the field of anger and aggression and hostility to relationships, and that's where I've come to be where I'm at the moment, which is working mainly with couples. That's what I do here in Adelaide. I mainly see couples on a one-on-one basis or one-on-two basis. There's always two of them, isn't there? And be able to help them to clear out any negativity that they have and be able to take their relationship to a space of absolute positivity. And I've literally seen hundreds and hundreds of couples and coached and educated them towards a better relationship, from states of being really, really down in the dumps in their relationship to the point they've even been separated and reunifying them and creating a better connection between the two parties. Let me talk to you a bit about negative thinking. It turns out that what you're going to have to do is a bit of groundwork in order to get to a state where your partner can be attracted to you, and vice versa, you can feel a strong connection to your partner. Now that's going to be pretty hard because as human beings, we are skin bags of emotion. In order to explain to you how that happens, I want to teach you a bit about the evolution of the human being. See, we are like no other creature on the planet because we have a larger brain and carry the great power of thumbs. So, because we're able to manipulate things with our thumbs and our hands. So we're able to create things like painting, writing, driving a car, making food on a level that other creatures can't do that. So our thumbs have helped our brain develop, and vice versa. When our brain developed, it also allowed us to speak and able to write. So our thumbs and our brain grew and was able to make us far more evolved creatures than any other creature on the planet. We could express ourselves. We could also express how we felt, and these emotions developed and became more refined. However, this came at a great cost. See, the cost is a lot more emotion. And emotion, what I define as emotion, is emotional charge. In other words, a magnetic charge within the body. This emotion, of course, can magnify with our thoughts. So if we are thinking about our relationship, this stimulates the feelings we have about our relationship. And this, of course, goes far over and beyond the logical side of the brain, the left brain. And what this can do is this actually build up charge in your brain. Now, when you're in a relationship, you can get stuck in the rut. You can get stuck in some thinking habits. Now, these patterns form over time. So if you have resentment towards your partner, or you feel bad towards your partner because they're not doing enough around the house, for example, then you might get caught in a rut where you actually start thinking that your partner is always not doing enough around the house, even though they may make efforts to do more for you and try and form a stronger connection with you and be able to correct some of the problems on this level in the domestication scene. So what happens is, though, is that because we've developed a mind so greatly over the years of evolution, we've started to basically think too much about things and distance ourselves from our senses and reality. What I call these are sins of thinking. So let me explain a bit about the 8 sins of thinking, the sins that I've identified that people negatively think about or they create in their minds. And of course, these types of sins of thinking are basically universal. What I found with my clients, universal, and they've existed for many, many years. So the first type of sin of thinking is personalizing. What happens here is that your partner might say, you might ask your partner, do you want to go for a walk? And your partner says, no, I don't want to go for a walk. And you get hurt because you think, oh, they don't love me. What you've done is you've taken what they've said, their refusal or rejection, and you've internalized it and made it a lot stronger emotionally than what the real situation is. The fact is your partner just might not like walking or they're a bit lazy. Okay, let's move on to the second sin of thinking. This is ant elephant thinking. This is when you take something small and blow it out of proportion. This is, in other words, what you do is you take something small and you put a lot of emotion into it and blow it way out of proportion, or you catastrophize it, turn a molehill into a mountain, as you know from the saying. Now, let's go to the third one, elephant ant thinking. This is where you take something really significant and important and positive and you reduce it down to a little ant. So if your partner says to you, you're looking good in that top today, that color really suits you, and you go, you're so pissed off about something they did yesterday, you'll say, yeah, you just saying that because you want to get on my good side. You're still in my black book, right? Or in the bad books. Now, the fourth one, sin of thinking, is stewing. So what we do here with stewing is that our partner might do something like, for example, they might refuse to look after the kids, and you think, oh, they never help around the house. And so you stew about it for literally weeks and days and weeks after. You can't get it out of your head. It really plays on your mind. Anything that plays on your mind is a stewing habit. Black and white thinking is where you see things as black and white. And one client came to me and said, oh, we've become really stubborn through time. This couple was sitting there. And she said, we've become really stubborn. And I said, look, all couples become stubborn because what happens is you got your point of view and beliefs, and your partner has his point of view and beliefs. And what happens is you don't ever compromise those beliefs. What you do is you become more strong-minded about your beliefs, and you're like two negative magnets and you pull each other away because you're both black and white thinkers. And through time, that gets worse. Because what happens in a relationship, you have two people come together and they generally have different beliefs and values because they've been conditioned in different environments, different cultures, or different families. They've been taught different things. So that's probably the case with your partner. There's probably more incompatibilities mentally with your partner than you think there are. Jumping the gun is where you jump to a conclusion. So your partner might say they're going to be home at 6:30, and you immediately think they're having an affair on you, an extramarital, when in actual fact they're just running late because they got caught in traffic. Reading into things is a really interesting one. This is where you become a mind reader of body language. So you might be sitting there and your partner, you're telling them about some great idea that you have of, writing a book and going out there and talking to the public about something you're passionate about. And your partner rolls his eyes and, the eyebrows and eyes, and you go, oh, he doesn't like that idea. He never supports me. And then you ask him later, and he says, "Look, the reason I rolled my eyes is I forgot some work at work, and I've got to go back in there, and I'm really, really annoyed with myself. I wasn't actually listening to what you were saying," which can be another problem, by the way. Okay, so beating yourself up. What happens here is that you make a mistake and you can't let it go. So you take things away from yourself. You begin to take things. So things you enjoy. For example, you might enjoy doing some exercise, and then you've made a mistake with, say, something in your relationship. You haven't corrected something. And then, of course, you start basically beating yourself up about it and stop exercising. Let's go straight into positive thinking. Now, you want to break some of these habits. What you'll find is actually, if you go to your worksheet, I forgot to tell you, if you go to your worksheet, you've got several questions on there. There's actually 4 questions. The first one is, what's the oldest habit? So write your answer in there now. What is the oldest habit based on what I've been talking about? And then what I'd like you to do is that we've done the negative thinking part, I want you to write down your sins of thinking. Write down the one or two that you do the most. Are you a person that reads into things? Are you a black and white thinker? Do you jump to conclusions? So just write down one of two things there. And in a moment, we're going to be doing exercise 3 in your fun sheet. Okay, that exercise sheet you've got, which is what sort of positive thinking, how are you going to turn that sin of thinking into a positive thought process? And I'm going to give you my technology where you can pick something and then apply that to your negative thinking to be able to change your habit. So with positive thinking, we want to break the habit of these negative sins of thinking. And what we'd have to do firstly is identify the negative thought process. So you've already done that just then. You've written down one or two sins of thinking. What we need to do now is we need to apply a positive thought to counteract that negativity. Think of it like this. You have negative energy. You need to then neutralize that with positive energy, positive thinking. You have to work hard at this. You have to identify a positive thought and counteract that. The key, though, is repetition. You must repeat this over and over again so it becomes second nature. Your negative thought process is automatic because it's gone into the subconscious, and it's basically it's totally automatic and second nature. Well, this is what you must do with positive thinking. You must make it second nature, a second nature habit. In other words, something you do without thinking. I studied positive thinking for a long time, for several years, and I came to the conclusion that there are only 3 ways that you can positively think. I studied the gurus and Buddhism and all sorts of positive thinking technologies or ways of becoming more wise as a human being. And I came up with 3 processes. The first one, the first R, and I called it the 3 R's because it's reframe, reject, and release. The first R looks like the hardest, but it's actually the easiest. It's called reframe. This is about changing your mindset. In other words, looking at a negative situation from a different angle, from standing in someone else's shoes or looking at it from a different perspective or getting someone else's opinion about it. So what we do here is we try and think of a broader way of looking at it, even a philosophical way of looking at a negative situation so that we can get into a different mindset. We can literally change our state of mind, the way we feel about it. And the way we do that is by introducing this positive mindset. So if your partner says, I don't want to go for a walk, and you personalize that she doesn't love me, then you need to start thinking, okay, if I ask her and then she refuses, then we have a good relationship because she's able to say no to me without me taking too much offense. So I need to let that go. Okay, that's a positive reframe, if you know, of that situation where I personalized it. Let's move on to the second one, reject. This is what happens here is that when you get a positive, negative thought happening in your mind, which is very automatic and it feels very strong, what you need to do is counterpunch that immediately with a thought process which is more balanced and more positive than the negative thought reaction. You have thought reactions all the time. You have to counterpunch those. So what might happen here is your partner says, I don't want to go for a walk, and you go, oh, she doesn't love me. You say, oh, come on, of course she loves me. And remember what she did yesterday? She made a nice meal for me, and she said that she loved me and she showed affection towards me. Now, come on, you need to get over this. So you're really, really assertive with yourself, and you counterpunch straight away, so that you don't let that negativity stew over within you. It doesn't fester within you on your subconscious mind. You're able to neutralize it straight away. It's like chemistry. You've got a negative state or solution, and you introduce positive ions. It neutralizes. It becomes neutral. What you'll find is with counterpunching is you'll find yourself you come to a calm state when you're able to counterpunch positively. The third R is release. This is what happens here is if you do reframing and rejecting a lot, what you'll find is that you won't follow a negative thought process. Just let it go straight away. You're able to release it. Sort of like Buddhism, where you don't get attached to your own thought process. You just release it and let it go. So those are the 3 R's. Practice those, repeat those over and over again, and releasing will become a lot more accessible and easy for you. Now, would you like the most powerful mindset that can be created in a relationship to create attraction and connection with your partner? Okay, well, I'm saying you probably do, right? And most people don't say no to that. So let me explain how it basically works. And what you need to do is understand how the brain works for the sexes, because it's different if you're male versus female. The mindset of a woman is usually to seek attention from her partner and to look attractive. A man uses his visual system to look at a woman and be attracted to her. Women connect on an emotional level, men connect on a more physical level or visual level. Now I'm going to give you a mindset you need to adopt to create attraction in your relationship. You must imagine as a female that there are 100 men attracted to you and chasing after you. So what you do is you close your eyes and visualize that and feel like 100 men are attracted to you, including your partner, and just feel the confidence and great feeling you get from that. then I want you to harness that feeling and remember that. And when you're with your partner, I want you to carry that feeling into your your interactions with your partner. They'll feel that from you, that confidence, and they'll feel attracted to that because I said you're feeling very confident and you're feeling attractive, and they'll gravitate to that, be magnetized by that. Now, if you're male, it's different. For a male, you must visualize yourself with your partner as the only woman in the world. There's no other woman in the world. And what this will do is allow you the feeling of a slight desperation and a strong connection with your partner to the extent that you won't stray and look at other women and be, let's say, detracted from your female by dispersing your energy onto other women. Okay, and this will help you. So you need to visualize it as a male differently to a female. When you're out of a relationship, the psychology is different. When you're in a relationship, the psychology is like this. A woman must imagine having 100 men attracted to her. A man must imagine only his partner is the only female in the world. Now I want you to turn back to your fun sheet. What I want you to do is to think of one positive R that you can use to counteract your sin of thinking, your habit sin of thinking. So it's either a reframe, reject, or release. And I want you to write in that space there what that thought would be. So if you're getting a personalizing thought, you need to be able to have a counterpunching or a rejecting thought process that you can use and adopt. It's like a tool that you reach for, and so that's what I'm going to use in that situation. And what I want you to do is fill out 4 as well, which is what is your powerful mindset visualization? Okay, you can vary it a bit to what I've told you. There's no problems there. But if you're male, remember you have to have a strong energetic connection with your partner. So you need to imagine that she's the only woman in the world. And as a female, you need to not imagine there's 100 men attracted to you, so you can feel that confidence. And it doesn't matter. There can be men that look like Brad Pitt through to men that don't look that good looking. It doesn't really matter. But it's important here that you get into that feeling state, that you have a sense of immense confidence and also feel attractive within yourself. This must come from within. It can't come from without. So what we learned today is the 8 distortions or sins of thinking, the 3 R's, and how you can reverse those habits and be able to change it. Harness the negative energy and convert it into positive energy, and the most powerful mindset that can create attraction between you and your partner. Well, thank you very much for being on this short video. And as a gift to you, we're going to allow you to download some information from areyoufaking.com.au. On that website, you're going to find Chapter 1 download of our latest book, Are You Faking It?, which is the book every woman should read. It's a great read, and if you're male and female, you should probably download it anyway, even if you're male. It doesn't really matter. Read through that, enjoy it. It's free of charge, no obligation. Just put your name and email in the field on the right-hand side, and you also get our 20 plus videos on food, aphrodisiacs, attraction, psychology of love, and relationship for couples. And this is a fantastic resource that we delivered one video at a time, once a week, over about half a year, 6 months, and you'll get 168 minutes of great material that you can tune into and watch on your computer. So really enjoy those videos and the book chapter, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks very much for listening. Bye.